Auckland FC, a second team from New Zealand. Could it possibly work?
We have one chance to make history at home.
What is with this phenomenon? It's exploded.
They have 7 months from us opening doors to kicking the football for the first time. Every meeting that we have starts with what have we done for the community today. We are not putting 13 football matches together because we've got 13 home games. I said we're putting 13 events.
What is one thing that keeps you sane? But
Do the doing, and I like to lead by example. Get your hands dirty. Just get on with it. Don't procrastinate. Don't think about the what ifs. Don't listen to anyone. Do, fail, fast. Pick yourself back together and go again and again and again.
And why football is a business?
We sold a dream.
Sold the dream.
And will be presented to Hiroki Sakai and the Auckland FC players.
Before we can, get into this, I just want to get understanding, how long have you been playing football for, and how did you, think about getting into something like this?
Yeah, so it all happened by destiny, really. So I've been playing football. I'm actually an interesting mix. I'm half Brazilian, half Kiwi. I was born in Brazil.
Wow.
Mum is Brazilian, dad is Kiwi. So I was born there. Football injected in my mum's tummy since day one.
Absolutely.
So football was my life for 14 years. Then I moved here, kept playing here, played for school, played for club, up to about 19 years old. And then life got in the way and things took a different path. But I still, like yourself, very much a fan, and have always supported my clubs and very much involved in the supporting side, and then playing for fun, but never really at the level that I was playing. But my background is actually corporate. I've worked for Fonterra for over 15 years. Then I worked for some family-owned businesses. Then I jumped into startups. That's how I met Anna Marbury. And I worked for her startup called Zeal, which is a tech business.
Yeah.
And then when she co-invested into the club, she pulled me aside one day and said, "Hey, look, you love football. I've invested in this club. They have 7 months from us opening doors to kicking the football for the first time. There's a lot of work to be done. Would you be keen to jump across?" I was like, "Don't ask me twice."
Blessing in disguise, isn't it?
I was like, "Don't ask me twice." Little did I know the amount of work and sacrifice that would be involved in getting off the ground. But I just said, "Yeah, sure." So then she connected me with the CEO, Nick Becker, who is our current CEO. And then we had a couple of chats and aligned. And the rest is history.
Wow, what a beautiful journey to start something with a passion and end up straight there working for the football, one of the football giants of Auckland, pretty much. So from the lens of ownership, give us kind of a top 3 reasons Auckland Football Club had to exist in the first place. Why Auckland? Why now? Or when you started off? And why football as a business?
Yeah, so there's a lot that I could talk on this. I'll try to summarize into top line. So I think our major owner is a gentleman called Bill Foley from America, and he owns a multi-club model. So he owns AFC Bournemouth, who plays in the Premier League. He owns Lorient in France. He just bought a club in Portugal called Moreirense. So he's got quite a few football clubs, and then also he owns Las Vegas Golden Knights, which is a NHL team.
AFC Bournemouth as well?
Yeah, it's all part of the same ownership group.
Yes.
And he's based out of Las Vegas, and he was the guy who told everyone that he was going to bring ice hockey to the desert, and everybody laughed at him. And he also said that he would win the Stanley Cup in 6 years, which there are teams that are over 80 years old and never won it. So everybody thought he was mad and said you're crazy, and he won it in 5.
Yes.
So, that's the type of guy that we're dealing with. And I think he's our major owner. And the way that before we existed, Auckland was the largest city by population in the world without a professional football club. Wow. So it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. It's a brand new information for myself.
It's pretty crazy. So I think obviously a lot of research was done, and an opportunity to launch a new club in the A-League came about. Obviously Bill was within that world, so word got to him that there was an opportunity to do so. He would have done his research, realized what I've just told you, and said, well, let's do it. And then through those conversations, he also got linked up with the likes of Anna Mowbray and Ellie Williams, who also co-own our local owners here, who are extremely passionate. Their kids play football. They've always been invested in. For them was more, what's the pathway for young Kiwis? Yes, you've got Wellington Phoenix. That's one team. It's down, in Wellington. There's not a lot of connection with Auckland. And for her kids herself playing, she couldn't see, how do I tell my son, like, this is what it takes to be this, and this can lead to that. But there's not. So for them, it was another opportunity to, like, how do we actually give our young children a way to kind of connect with what it takes to be a professional footballer. So then Ellie and Anna joined forces with Bill, and they bought the license in November 2023.
Yes, that's great.
And we opened doors first week of March, officially, like everybody on board. And there was 5 of us, I think, at the beginning. And we kicked the football professionally the first time on the 19th of October. So it was literally 7 months.
Bright and clear date, isn't it?
Exactly. I'll never forget that date.
No, that's good. That's good. No, it's an interesting journey. Again, I think where you guys come from, you pretty much evaluated why you chose Auckland as a place to kick it off. And I think that is much more, resembles to most people. If they are starting a journey in some shape or form, it's really important to do that as well. But being operated, as you said, by biggest entertainment group, which is Black Knight Sports and Entertainment, if I'm not wrong, with the exposure to the Bournemouth club from the Premier League. What was the one global lesson you kind of imported and the one that you deliberately ignored when you started working with Auckland Football Club?
That's a good question. I think for us, Bill's number one mandate was connect with the community. That was the number one thing that he told Nick. And Nick installs that on us every single day. Every meeting that we have starts with, what have we done for the community today? And it ends with what we're going to do for the community tomorrow. That's number one, dead center. Everything we do is to do with our community. How do we give back to communities, to grassroots? How do we genuinely connect with fans? That's the only way that we're going to be successful. And I think Bill took those lessons from taking ice hockey to the desert and figuring out how did he become successful. It's very much about connecting with the local community, creating something that people will be proud of and people will feel like they belong to. That was the lesson and continues to be our mantra every day. Because if you look at another stat of Auckland is, Auckland football now in New Zealand has become the most played sport.
That's correct.
By quite a long shot. We've got over 100,000 registered players just in the northern region, leading rugby multiples to 1. And when you look at the generations of tomorrow, with everything that you've got going on with parents not wanting kids to get, CTs and all of those things, and obviously already they're playing, the registered players being heavily geared towards football, you can see the snowball effect of the parents of tomorrow who are already football fans of Auckland FC. You're born into Auckland FC. Soon we're going to have generations of people who are born into it. Currently, we just had transient fans who never really had anything. No one, and we came about, and they're obviously hardcore football fans like yourself, like myself. Oh, now I have something to belong to.
Absolutely.
But their kids are born into it. And then their kids are born into it. And then quickly, fast forward 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, you have, a mini UK or South America where you've got generations and generations of people that is just what you do. I was born into a team that I didn't even know how to spell it, but that was just, I was dressed head to toe, and that's just what it is. You don't have a choice, My father never came to me and said, oh, son, which club? No, there's no conversation. You're born into that, that's it. And I think we will eventually be there. And obviously, also one of the most culturally diverse cities in the world.
100%.
People from all walks of life, and football being a global sport, it also was a no-brainer. Like, okay, how do we bring something to this city where it's got the largest population in New Zealand? It is the largest city that doesn't have a professional football club. How do we actually bring something that brings all those culturally diverse communities together? So that was number one, the lesson. And what we ignored And this is Nick's, I think, one of the biggest unspoken successes that he created when he started, is that he actually barely hired people that had sporting backgrounds.
Except yourself?
Well, I had a sporting background as playing, but I've never worked in sport. I have a corporate background, then I went into startup, and then I went into football. Like I have no sporting industry experience. No one really does in our team. Taking football department out of the equation, because obviously, but from a head office perspective, we've got no one, literally. So that was a punt that he took, and he said, actually, if I hire people, especially in New Zealand, that's a small industry. Even before we came, you can count in one hand how many professional teams you've got.
Exactly.
He said, if I hire people that are doing something, they're going to do the same thing, because people don't know what they don't know. And if that's what they know, they're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we are someone that defies a club, that our identity is to do things different. If you look at our match days, you would have been to our games, you would have seen the family fan experience we've got, the slide, all the crazy things, the beach and the Ferris wheel and the petting zoo and all these crazy things that we create, because we want to do things that people don't think it's possible. We had a guy land on the pitch with skydive last year and deliver the match ball on the pitch.
Wow.
From literally a guy just started falling from the sky. People were like, what's going on? He literally fell into the middle of the pitch and put a ball for the guys to kick off. So stuff like that we are proud to be known for that. And I think if Nick had hired people that are used to doing things a certain way, some of these crazy ideas would have never come to existence. So I think that would be the one thing that he ignored, and I think we continue to ignore. In fact, we actually like when we have an idea and people say, nah. That's when we go,
that's when we say yes.
We double down on it. So it created a bit of like a culture of always defying that first. Oh nah. Like,
it seems more like you guys are Emirates of Auckland. Emirates has a knack of doing weird stuff, going right onto the Burj Khalifa and doing stuff like that. So you guys are doing something similar for Auckland, which is great, because you have to be different in current market. And how are you different is by doing something absolutely either crazy things or something more strategic and fun that people love and accept. Bill Foley is known for his discipline and for returns, of course, right? Fans crave passion and identity. What's the first brutal trade-off you had to make where investors' brain and the football heart didn't agree to it?
That's a real good question. I think, though, yes, he's a very disciplined man. He hasn't become who he's become without caring about returns, that's for sure. But he's also now has a multi-club model, which I think he has a very deep understanding of what it takes to be successful. And I think one of the things that Bill probably cares a little bit more than returns is winning. I've never met any man in this planet that is as competitive as he is. And I think he's got this mentality that winning is not an option. It is what it is. So I think with that, he understands what it takes to win. So that was always first and foremost the priority. And also when you're winning in sport, as you know, in our good old menu days, everything else follows, right? So obviously the focus primarily is win, focus on community. And then once that snowball effect happens, returns will become a consequence. Because if you've got full stadiums, that means you've got good partners on board. That means your team is developing and sustaining great players, which means then that you can sell players for good value and you'll be a good attraction for new talent. So like you start to create this spider web that returns just become inevitable. But unless you win and you have a genuine connection to community and you invest time, effort, and money into creating that foundation.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. But how do you look at it from a football angle, right? I mean, we're romantically involved in football when it talks about the heart and place and everything being there. That's about the returns. But from a football angle, from a football heart, do you agree with something like this? Or because, for all the football matters is the great game on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's what it ends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think I agree with it, because if you got winning at the heart of it all, that means that you will have good players, otherwise you won't win.
True.
And if you don't win, if you don't have good players, then you don't have the crowds and the passion. So like everything that I've just said will draw people like you and I to go watch. Because if your team is winning, you and I, we are hardcore fans where it doesn't matter. We come from a
different breed.
A different breed. Where it doesn't matter if Auckland wins or not. If you've got all bad players tomorrow, you're still going to turn up. I'm still going to turn up. We're still going to share the same passion, because we are footballer mad. But for the generalist in New Zealand, because I was actually talking to someone today about it, when we came about last year, it was a real interesting fan base, because we don't currently have, apart from like we as a minority.
Yeah.
So you've got this pool called the generalists, which are people that don't necessarily love football. Some don't even understand it. However, their kids are all into football.
Okay.
You know, you have people like Dan Carter, for example, famous, one of the greatest All Blacks of all time. Yep. All his kids play football. He's in the lounge pretty much every game with his kids. Why? Because they're football mads. He probably didn't even know how to kick a round ball for a long time. But now all his kids are footballers. So how many Dan Carters are out there in terms, so there's a real big first stunt kind of thing that happened when we came about, where there's all these transient fans who are either rugby fans, but their kids are not, or just generalists. They just like to have a good thing to do on a Saturday afternoon with their kids. And cheap tickets come in, great atmosphere, the port, the vibe, the football, and you've got this light and the kids entertained, and you're home by 7 o'clock. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. So that's kind of what we still very much about how do we sustain that? How do we keep being more than football? Yes. Football will attend to the hardcore, to the port, to you and I, but that's a very small, we're not in the UK.
Yeah.
We need to create more. So I always said to the team when we started, I always used to tell my team, we are not putting 13 football matches together because we've got 13 home games. I said, we're putting 13 events. Yes. Football happens to be there. Whether you watch it or not, great. But that's not what we're doing. Yeah. We want people to leave the game saying, oh, you saw the planes flying over. You saw the guy falling from the sky. Oh, this slide, 20 meters, that was so fun. Oh, and we won 4-0.
So thinking more outside the box.
Exactly. Because if we rely on football solely, two things will happen. Yeah. You'll be heavily dependent on results, because we don't have we just talked about, we don't have the generational passion of people who turn up, rain or shine, win or lose. And B, you only will attract people that actually care about the game. The ones that don't won't come. So how do you create an environment that it's all encompassing? If you want to come and you're hardcore, great, you've got a football, great team to watch. If you want to come and bring your kids to have a good afternoon or enjoy a beer or a soda, great. You've got this light, you've got this. And if you're just a generalist that likes a good vibe and a good time, you want to have a cheap alternative with your mates to go have a drink and listen to some people chanting, great. Like, so how do you actually tackle all those different personas or groups or demographics to make sure that you have something for everyone?
True. So tell me about, when Auckland Football Club had no players announced, no on-field results, no legacies, what did you sell first? Belief, data, vision? And what was the hardest, stakeholder to convince?
Mate, we sold a dream.
Sold the dream. I think you fulfilled it as well in the first year.
Well,
I would say that.
I would like to say that. I would like to think that. But yeah, it was a real difficult place to be, because we were trying to sell something that didn't exist in a league that barely anyone knew. And everything was a challenge. People didn't know the league. People didn't know who Bill was, or people didn't know what we're trying to do in a professional team and how. And Auckland has had professional teams before, 16 years ago, and they all fell through. So there's a bit of legacy of people that remember that. So it was all really difficult. Nobody, and we would have had, I don't know, 200 plus meetings across. We've turned every stone. And actually, my predecessor, a guy called Mike Higgins, did a lot of work because he was the previous CCO. I used to run the other side of the business. But we all so small at that time that we all just trying to help each other, because what contact do you have? Who do you, And then our first ever partner, still with us. It's a company called Cumulo 9. I don't know if you know them or not, but they're an IT company. The owner is called Chris Hogg, and he was our first ever partner, and still a partner today. A guy that we have a lot of time and respect for, who believed in the vision and said, you know what, guys, like, let's do this. And I think that was the injection that we needed in order to believe ourselves, because we're trying to sell something. You know, I mean, trying to start a business, especially for founders, you get so many no's.
Yes.
And you get hit in the head so many times with doubters and naysayers and people saying, nah, that's not going to work. You start to, you need a real tough skin to be able to carry on, right?
Yeah.
And I think for us, it got to a point where our skin was thick, but it was starting to get pretty thin. And then this guy came about and gave us the extra injection of hope. And then, we have great partners like the likes of ANZ and Anchor, who believed as well at the beginning. And I think once you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 partners on board, things start to, you start to believe, and you turn up to meetings.
I think the first one is always difficult, and the first one is always hard enough to crack. And once you start cracking that one, that's when everything lines up. And that brings me to, one more thing is, what is one thing that you imagine would be easy to work out with and turned out to be the most painful and hard for you?
I think it would be the underestimating, simply because we don't know what we don't know. Like I said, nobody that's come to our business have had previous, real. So I think for us was underestimating what putting a match day
looks like
together looks like. From literally match day -10 to match day -1 to packing in everything to actually delivering commercial requirements. Because one thing is sit down and get someone to believe in you, hey, sure. And at that point, when you've been given so many no's, you throw the kitchen sink at it, right? So there were partners that had all these deliverables. We're saying yes to everything because we're trying to get people on board. So then we have to deliver it. And nobody has ever done anything. So what does doing all that look like? There's no footprint, there's no blueprint, there's no nothing that we could follow, especially because we're trying to be so different. So a lot of the ideas that were sold were never done before. So it's like, how do we actually do that? When do we need to do it by? So like that to me was probably the greatest, and it's a gift and a curse. I think it was probably the thing that made me lose the most amount of hair, but at the same time, it's probably where my greatest learnings came from. And that's cliche,
not as
right?
much as mine, but but tell me that, during that peak time, the deliverables that needs to happen, what is one thing that keeps you sane?
Passion.
Okay.
For me personally, passion. I love this so much. And I think you only last in this business, particularly ours, if you love it. That is the only thing I can tell you. Because if there's anything else apart from passion, you won't survive.
Fair enough. Let's go back to the first match, right? Before the first match was played, what were the top 3 commercial non-negotiable that you insisted on getting it right?
Kit, for me, was definitely number 1 from a coach, because obviously that's first time we're going to be on broadcast. It was a sold-out game ahead of time. Everybody wants to know, what is the Auckland FC thing that everybody's talking about? So what does the kit look like? Is it to, expectation? Do we have the right logos in the right place, the right color, approvals, everything? So that was definitely number 1, because all eyes was going to be on that, right? The other bit was, second to that would be the family, which we call the family fan zone, which is that end bit and the North Bank. Again, trying to be very different. I don't think any other code or club uses that area the same way that we're set out to do that. So like even the slide, which is probably the best investment. Nick says that all the time in his interviews. It's probably the best investment we've ever made. Because we've paid that 100x in terms of, you never see a game that thing is not full from the beginning to the end. Rain, shine, wind, doesn't matter. Kids love it. So getting that right was a non-negotiable. Not only for the club identity, like, okay, this is who we are and what we stand for, but also we had partner deliverables that were brought to you by, or things that they were going to execute. We had to facilitate.
Sure.
So that was the second thing. And then the third thing, which I was also heavily involved in, was a baby of mine when we first did it, was our premium lounge. So we've got our premium lounge called the Black Knight Club. And the Black Knight Club is probably our first ever concept in New Zealand. Definitely globally, many examples, but locally is the first ever, the way that we've done things, the way that we've laid out the lounge and the way that we've done things, furniture-wise, floor-wise, offering-wise. And so I was involved in that from day one. I bought every single piece of furniture myself, with the help of an interior designer who supported us. I picked every collar, every chair. When it arrived, I screwed myself every single screw on those chairs, on those benches, on everything, because it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Got to get it done. Startup mentality. You just have to do it.
You have to roll your sleeves up.
That was it. I turn up, everything is apart. I was like, oh my God, nobody told me that this is going to be the case. And I spent 2 full days unpacking boxes and putting stuff together and getting people that could come help me for a little bit and doing it myself. And so that is also another thing, because it was a first, but a lot of people said, nah, that's New Zealand is round table, 10-seater, come in, chicken beef, that's not what we are about, So we created this. Exactly.
Yeah. And when you were hunting players, how much of that decision was football ability, versus brand value, and marketability and long-term asset thinking?
Yeah. So I'll give you my very poor view on this. Obviously, it's not my area of expertise, and I don't want to say something that is butchering the process. But I know Terry well enough, who's our director of football, and I've heard him speak about this at length. So trying to paraphrase him here, but for us, the number one thing that he looks for and the coaching staff looks for is no ego. We've got a no ego mentality. It doesn't matter. You might be the greatest footballer of all time, but if you're bringing ego to the changing room, you're not welcome here. So we've got the football guys, the football players, and the football department. They have a saying that they've come up with, which is called "We go together." So when we first started and we first formed our squad, Terry and the football department put into the players to come up with what were the non-negotiables, what they want to be known for, and what's their identity. And then by various conversations, they came up with that tagline. We go together, which meaning they do everything together. They have lunch together after every training session. They go at the same time to the stadium before match day together. They hang out together. Everything is together for them. So egos wouldn't work in an environment like that.
And I think that's exactly how the mentality works. That's the elite mentality. If you are, and if you resonate something with a business, I mean, even if you getting your hands dirty, you shouldn't have that ego that I'm the co-founder, I'm not going to do it.
Correct.
Whatever you are, doesn't matter. Get your hands dirty, get in the mud, get the things rolling. And if you have that kind of an ego, even if it's a team, SLT teams or marketing teams, you person with the ego doesn't work pretty well. So I think that is something very well said by the players themselves and set up for success.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously am biased, but I agree with it. And we are very interlinked. And I'll leave this question with one thing. Terry also developed this 3-sentence that we use, which he says, what's best for the club, what's best for the team, and what's best for me. So every decision that we make, be football department or be head office, follows those 3 steps.
In the process, were there any players rejected?
I can't think that there was one player that didn't quite work out.
Was it because of the commercial? Or?
No commercial. I think it was just didn't fit the mold.
Yeah, okay. It's not the same mentality that the players are on, sitting on.
Correct, which is hard, right? You're trying to get 26 players that never, don't necessarily know each other very well and get in the room. To get it right first time, we're pretty lucky to, I think, have one that didn't quite work out, but the rest have all, because we gave it to them to come. Like, we didn't tell them, this is what you're known for. They created themselves. They came to us and said, this is what we want to be known for. This is what we want our mantra to be.
Absolutely.
So they had to go through a whole, imagine 26 guys in a room trying to decide, and then they came to a consensus.
The problem is not 26 guys. I think the problem is 26 football players coming to decide about this thing.
Probably adds an extra level.
Extra level of thought. But given an opportunity for you, would you choose a boardroom or a dressing room for a day, and why would you choose that?
That's a tough question. I mean,
come on, you're the player.
I would definitely, if I could, I would choose a dressing room.
Why is that?
Because I've played football my whole life, and if I ever had the opportunity to be professional and play, I would have grabbed that with both hands for sure.
And become the captain.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Wear that armband.
Exactly that. I mean, yeah, it would be awesome. But equally, I have the best job in the world.
Absolutely. 100%.
I have the best job in the world. I wouldn't change it. Like, I love it. It's so good. So
fantastic. And that brings me to the next question. It is, tell us about a bad day in year one that never made the headlines. A decision that, felt right strategically, but uncomfortable emotionally.
Yeah. So I think fortunately, we don't have a lot of those examples to give, because we were so focused on community first.
That's great.
And we've developed that community pool so wide and broad fast, and we were never egotistic not to consult.
But when you guys are evaluating, the partnerships with brands like ANZ, 2 Degrees, New Balance, Anchor, what are the top 3 filters you use to decide whether a brand becomes a partner, or is it just a missed check?
I think we always stay true to who we are and the values that we carry on day in, day out. I think that's kind of how and I think that's also partly why we took so long to have the partners that we have. Because especially when we...
How long did you take, if you might ask?
I would say, I mean, from New Jersey last year, which was Anchor, only came about, I would say, a couple of months before we kicked the football. Like, it would have been the last minute type of thing. Because we didn't want to slap just anyone in there, for the sake of money. Because we know if we did that, it's short-sighted. It creates more work later because you're going to have to redo it in the next year. So, okay, how do we actually find, don't get me wrong, filling the kit and having partners are crucial for our survival. But at the same time, we need to find partners that share anything that you want to do long term. If it's going to be successful, you have to share the same values. You have to be after the same things. You have to believe in the same things. And at the same time, you have to be swimming towards the same island. Like, you have to be walking side by side and understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. And once you align all those things, I believe when I sit across from an ANZ or an Anchor and I say, hey guys, like, we've tried our best. This is what we could do. It wasn't exactly what we planned, but hey, you know how much we tried. That instant, mate, I understand. I trust you. I know you guys are trying. Or I know you've done this, or you promised that, and it wasn't quite this, we delivered that. People work with you. It's not a transactional relationship where you get the wrong partner, someone who's just willing to pay you money and tick A, B, C, D. All of a sudden it's like, oh, the computer says no. Like, oh, you didn't do this. No, and that's not what we're about. We're about community. We're about fans. We're about creating pride for Auckland and for New Zealand. So how do we actually align ourselves with partners that have the same vision?
And how do you structure these partnerships that, compounds over the period of time?
Yeah, so that's based on every deal is different. And obviously I can't discuss that, but it's some deals are multi-year deals. Some deals are single year deals with a right of renewal. So depending, every deal is dealt with based on.
So do you try much more like optimizing the cash that you guys are getting today, or is it more, of a long-term platform value that the partners get?
It's because we're so new. People don't, especially last year, well, how are we going to try to, like, for us, we can't justify a massive investment because people have no data. So how if I come to you and say, hey, I want $5 million for this, you're going to be like, okay, cool, but what's my ROI? Like, what are you going to do? What's my return? we've never kicked the football. So it's hard. It's a mix of both. Obviously, like I said, money is important, and we're not going to kid anyone, right? We're a business. But at the same time, it's how do you actually create partnerships that can be long lasting? Because the value and the return is a consequence. I truly believe that. If you have the right partner and you're doing the right things and you are growing the community, you're growing the fan base, you're growing football, you are giving New Zealanders a reason to believe and to be passionate about it. Yeah. The brands who are associated with you will automatically benefit from it. Absolutely. And if they're getting benefit from it, it's a genuine benefit. And if they're getting genuine benefit, they're going to be willing to sit across the table from you or beside you one day and be like, hey, mate, we're renewing our deal. We were X, now we're Y. Cool. Yeah, no worries. I see the benefit. As opposed to trying to extract the most amount of value. It's just not sustainable, I believe.
Yep. No, fair enough. I mean, I understand that. I mean, that is good too. If you are setting up a partnership from a long-term, perspective, it's always better and gives an opportunity equally to the other partners as well to come and interact rather than just putting a cash on the table and doing a deal sort of stuff. But if you talk about yourself, you've worked in Zeal and you've led growth across ANZ, which is Australia and New Zealand. What's one growth principle from the tech or marketplace that translated surprisingly well for the football club?
I think relationships are the key for everything. So I always put immense value in building genuine relationships. If you don't spend enough time understanding your partner's priorities or your team member priorities, what's important to them, which often are very different than what's important to you, you miss opportunities to build genuine connections. Because at the end of the day, I always say this to my team, right? We're never going to see lions walking with sheep. That doesn't happen. Lions are going to walk with lions. Sheep walk with sheep. And the only way you can build those relationships is through genuine connections. So if I am associated with you, either through friendship or through a commercial arrangement, if I don't place genuine interest in what is important to you as a friend, or what's important to you as an employee, or what's important to you as a partner, how will I then deliver what you're after? From me as a friend, or from me as a football club, or from me as a employer? I need to understand what you're trying to get out of it. Yeah. And then I can adapt my way of dealing with you to better align with what's important to you. Yeah. So everything, and once you have that, you've got that genuine connection with someone, trust is installed. And once you've got trust, some of those examples I used earlier just happen. If I sit with you and I say, Bridge, mate, you paid $50,000 to be front of shirt this year, next year's going to be 500 because of this, and I can, that's just what it is. Yeah. And if you truly trust me, because we've got a genuine connection, you believe that I've got your best interest at heart, you're not going to challenge. You might challenge me, mate, that's crazy, but what's the rationale? And I'll take you through the rationale, but I get it. There won't be you're trying to get one over me, like, where does this come from, and this and that. And I'm not saying this is way harder than it's not easily done. But that's the token, right? That's where you should be trying to get to all the time. And that's what I try to do with all of our partners, all the time. I have this funny story real quick about this, because when I was in Fonterra, I used to look after, one of my jobs was to look after very large customer in Saudi Arabia. And I was based in Dubai. And this large customer had a real sour taste with Fonterra because of previous things. And my job was to try to reignite that relationship. And the first time I went there, they didn't even want to see me. They came, they just told me all the bad things and told me to leave. And I was like, I'm going to do this. So I started trying to build a relationship with the guys via email, say, hey, what's going on? I see this news popped up about your company and cool, just trying to get nothing to do with business. Yeah. Then they started to talk to me. Then they were like, okay. I was like, can I come visit? No business, I just want to come visit, understand more about your farms. And I just started throwing a lot of BS just to kind of, they're like, yeah, you can. So I started going to Saudi Arabia just to sit in the office and learn about their business. No business. I never offered 1 single gram of milk powder. It was just like, oh, that's interesting. Can you take me to farms? How do you look after your cows? How do you do this? And one trip led to another. And I did 3 months of trips to the Kingdom Service just to meet them and work out of the office. Mm-hmm. And suddenly I was part of the furniture. And they were like, man, this guy, he's just here. And I started sitting down, and they would be having a meeting that required someone for there. Like, oh, Raf, you're here, come here. And I started joining meetings, and I started talking to them. And they started to rely on my expertise, which is understanding the area. All of a sudden I was in. Mm-hmm. The sale became a consequence of my relationship with them. Wow. And before I left, we did the largest ever deal with that company in Fonterra's history. Wow. And the guy still talks to me today. I still talk to him. He'll message me on WhatsApp. Actually, in fact, he messaged me last week saying, hey, Happy New Year and all this. So that's the level of relationship that I hope to achieve, and I drive my team to achieve with all of our partners. Because once you get to that level, which becomes, you're a trusted advisor, as you say in common, business language, everything else, I think, it becomes secondary. Yeah. So people just have, it's hard to attain it, but you can. If you're genuine, that's the thing. You can't buy it, you can't manufacture it. You have to be genuine. Yeah.
No, fair enough. Definitely, that's definitely a great learning. And for the business world, it absolutely paints a picture, and in the hindsight, saying that relationship is quite more important, and start taking that seriously. Is there any other unofficial KPI that you keep a track of by any chance?
Unofficial KPI, not really. Not one that I can think of. I think for me, I obviously care about relationships quite a lot. So I make sure that my team, it's not a KPI as such, but I make sure that we are doing what needs to be done and I'm guiding them in the right direction. But apart from that, it's all real KPIs. They can be tracked and measured.
In a CRM. That's good. No, that's good. The reason why I asked that question is just to understand if there's something you personally have a record of that it's officially not there, but you want to keep a record of yourself, tracking yourself onto it. But no, that's fine. If Auckland football wins nothing for the next 5 years, now that they've won, they're top on the table, I understand that. But if they don't for the next 5 years, but becomes commercially dominant, is that a success for you?
If we're still commercially dominant, even if we don't win for 5 years, absolutely.
Okay. And how do you personally define success when sports and business KPI kind of collide to each other?
Yeah, so I think football, sport in general is sport. We all know. We're kidding ourselves if you think you're going to win for the rest of your life. That doesn't work. We've got many examples globally across every single code, including the All Blacks, which once was pretty much seen as immortal, now are not. So those things happen. It's a cycle. We know that. So that's why I mentioned our job every day is to decouple product's performance to fan experience. So that's what I say that's where we put in 13 events come from. Everything we do every day is to decouple product's performance from fan experience. So as long as we can continue to create an environment where people come in and have fun and enjoy themselves regardless of win or lose, and we can get people to turn up to our games and the fandom continues, we'll have all those other bits and bobs will continue to flourish, and we'll create a following that becomes very much like the UK and South America. It doesn't matter if your team wins or loses for 10, 20, 50 years in a row. That's not even a thing. That's what you do. Yeah. Saturday, that's the routine, that's the ritual. That's what we are going to go and do and support. And I think that's success for me. That's the question, that's the $1 million question, right? Anyone you ask now, including my family, like, you guys are just winning. That's why. Yeah. And that's fair enough. That's fair enough for someone that's not in it and doesn't have that, I guess, insight and passion like I do, for example. It's a very fair assumption to be like, okay, when you start losing, you're going to be just like the Blues. You're going to be just like any other team. When they're winning, stadiums are full. They lose, 3 people turn up. Don't worry, just wait. And that's what gives me the fuel and the motivation to prove everyone wrong. Yeah. That although I don't want that day to arrive ever, I want us to always win. I genuinely believe that a lot of this groundwork that we are doing, and I may be proven wrong, But I do genuinely believe that all this community work, the fandom, creating the events as opposed to the matches, all this hard work that we're putting block by block will pay off dividends later if this day arrives and people will still support us. I'm confident.
And given if you get an opportunity to, pitch Auckland Football Club to, more like a Shark Tank or more like a people like that, what would make you nervous going there?
I'm so passionate about Auckland FC, if you haven't figured that out yet, that I would actually be excited about that opportunity as opposed to nervous. I don't think I would be nervous because I truly believe that what we have is very different from any other club in Australasia for that matter. And I know for a fact that there's so much value that we bring to community, to New Zealand, even to Australia. You look at our attendance, like our match day attendances across New Zealand and Australia, we have double the second place. Yeah. Like we obviously have created something that is different. So I think for me it would be an excitement to be able to present to people like that, to be like, hey, look, we've actually started a journey here that is different. How can we actually use your means to catapult?
To make it better. And last but not the least, if you had to distill one principle from launching Auckland Football Club that every founder, chief commercial officer, growth leader should apply to their first 24 months, what is it and why?
Very simple. For me is do the doing. Get your hands dirty. Just get on with it. Don't procrastinate. Don't think about the what ifs. Don't listen to anyone. Do, fail, fast, pick yourself back together and go again and again and again. That's the only way that you're gonna be successful. You've gotta do the doing. You've gotta be prepared to pack the boxes, to put the signs up, to put the screws in the chairs. You have to be able to do that. If you think you're bigger than someone, or because you've got founder or director on your title or CEO or whatever it is, you will fail very, very quickly. You have to be humble enough to be able to do. I always say this to my team too. I will never ask you to do anything that I'm not prepared to do myself. And I like to lead by example. We are in it together. It's a tyranny type of approach. It's a leadership based on hierarchy. You're doing this because I'm telling you. It doesn't matter. I don't do it. You are doing it because I'm telling you to do it.
Exactly.
And that's short-lived. People get demotivated. People don't believe, and then start to create resentment, and people leave, and you don't create the culture. So I think being prepared to do what you ask of others and making sure that you're in the trenches, rain or shine, rolling your sleeves and doing the doing. And that never stops. We are 2 years in and I'm still doing it. Like, I think that's the sort of stuff that you don't ever come out of. You don't one day decide, oh, hold on, now we are 5 years old, guys. I am the CCO, so I'm no longer going to turn up at 10 o'clock. Nah, I don't believe in that. I think if you're going to be a true leader and you're going to inspire others and people are going to be willing, to your point, to build those genuine connections, you have to be prepared to do what you ask of others.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rafael. That's the end for our show today. Is there anything that you want to add from your side? Tell it to our viewers. Maybe anything that you can think of that you want to share it with the audience.
Yeah, sure. I would encourage everybody to come to our games and experience the match day that Auckland FC provides. I think for those that haven't been, I would be very curious to hear the feedback after the first time to see what they feel it's what it's like, and if there's any feedback or things that we can do better. Like I said, we're never too big for anyone, so we're super keen to hear the feedback and go from there.
Absolutely. Now, thank you so much once again, and thank you from my side. If this conversation made you think differently about the business, a brand, or a team, all I would like to do, like you guys to do, is just do two things. Like this episode so we can reach out to more builders like yourself and others who've been on our show, and subscribe, to Scaling Secrets, because if you want real conversations with the real operators, we're here, we're taking that on, and we'll bring it to you guys. Thank you once again, and see you in the next one.
Thank you.
You too.